Everybody's thoughts with all of those affected in Turkey and Syria and the wider impact. And so it all starts again. The Champions League is back and will bring you every twist of the road to Istanbul, the incredible and the inconceivable, coming your way on Talksport. And it starts with Tottenham in Milan, back in the knockout stages, both beset by injury and inconsistency. Spurs hoping they can make the most of their miraculous Marseille turnaround by taking a first step towards the quarters. Tottenham in all white, kick from left to right in the first half. And Milan in red and black striped shirts, defending the end away to the right-hand side as Stuart Pearce and I look on these pictures on our studio monitors here in London. Ball headed by Perisic through the midfield. He wins the seconds and just tries to lob it forward. Harry Kane flicking it out to the right-hand side. This is a promising start from Spurs on the front foot very early. Emerson Royale floating inside the box where it is half cleared. And Romero will get a first touch of it and go back inside his own half of the centre circle for Eric Dyer. A minute gone, it's 0-0. We'll keep you abreast of all of the goals as they go in elsewhere. In the Championship, there's been a goal at Carrow Road. Ian Abrahams.
16 gone, Norwich 0, Hull 1, a corner recycled into the box for skipper Jacob Reeves, 8 yards out, swivel on it and thrash it home left-footed. Norwich 0, Hull 1.
And in League One, Port Vale have equalised at home to Barnsley. Nathan Smith with that goal. Swindon lead at Sutton in League 2. Mansfield at Carlisle in the same division as well. First opportunity for Milan to bring the ball forward with Rafael Leao. And Sandro Scherer, the referee, has given a free kick Milan's way. 90 seconds in here on Talksport. It's 0-0. And I'm delighted to be spending Valentine's night with Stuart Pearce. Not how either of us ever foresaw things panning out, I'm sure.
Speak for yourself on that one, Jim. I'm absolutely delighted to be alongside you, you know. You rekindle romance in my eyes in front of a screen as we are. Good start from Tottenham. They've got the ball forward pretty much and offered to try and turn Milan down early on, but Milan just picking the ball up with Leao there around the halfway line, just tucking in off the left-hand side, and he can be quite a handful on the counter.
So first set piece, and Milan will take it, and it's 18 yards outside the penalty area. Tonali runs over it. It's bent in by Teo Hernandez and will drift down towards Rafael Leao. Might have let that go out of play for a corner. Elected to play it. Swings a left-footed ball inside the penalty area, which is headed away by Clement Longley. And then Son will bring the ball down. Brahim Diaz was in there very strongly. An arm in the back of Son. Referee said no foul, and no complaints from Son. Straight back to his feet. And Milan will be able to go back inside their own half and work it back to the midfielder Krunic. Krunic to the blonde head, Simon Kjær. Dane with so many clubs behind him, so much big match experience. And Tatarishanu, the 37-year-old goalkeeper, whacks it forward through the midfield for Milan, and Brahim Diaz will pick it up. Ball from him to Rafael Leao. No foul on him this time. And the first opportunity for Sarr in the midfield just to play a little give and go with Kulusevski. Emerson Royale for Harry Kane. Down for Kulusevski again. Attacking down the right-hand side and winning a throw. Another goal at Carrow Road, Ian Abrahams.
Norwich 1, Hull 1. Hull only ahead for 2 minutes. Ball down the left-hand side for Onel Hernandez to square it inside the penalty area. 8 yards out for Kieran Dow. Wicked deflection off of Jacob Reeves, who just scored for Hull. Oh, I'm sure he hasn't had a great 2 minutes. It's Norwich 1, Hull 1.
One apiece there. 0-0 in the 4th minute at the San Siro, and Spurs get the first corner of the night.
Yeah, good opportunity there. Just looking at Skip and Sarr, it's really important that two young players there in the heart of the midfield for Tottenham give them a solid base, defensively and certainly to build up and get the attacks going.
Corner worked short by Perisic to Kulusevski. Kulusevski then just tried a little reverse ball down the inside right channel, but it was overhit and drifts out of play for a goal kick, which will be taken by Milan. What constitutes a good result, an acceptable result for Antonio Conte and Spurs tonight, Stu?
I think a draw, to be quite honest with you, whatever draw that might look like at this stage. You know, they'll want to come back, get Milan back to Tottenham and be in with every chance. I think it's a game, certainly, I wouldn't fear Milan, I've got to say, but the same can be said of Milan not fearing Tottenham at this stage. But I think playing away first will certainly benefit them.
Milan coming into this on the back of only one win in 8 games. That came at the weekend. They beat Torino to end a run of 4 successive defeats. They have failed to score in 4 of the last 7 games. Goals elsewhere in League 2, Doncaster leading Barrow 1-0, and League 1, Wickham lead at Accrington 1-0, and Matt Butcher has given Plymouth the lead at Oxford. The league leaders ahead under Steve Schumacher. It's Teo Hernandez with the bright peroxide blonde haircut, back for Kerr. Kerr on the edge of his own penalty area plays it forward. There's a free kick given away by Perisic in there, and a free kick which will be taken by Milan inside their own half. Fleetwood 1, Peterborough 0 in League 1 as well. We'll keep you abreast of all the goals as they go in over the course of the night. You're listening to the Champions League live on Talksport with Till, the card payment provider from NatWest. Rafael Leao has spent a fair bit of time on the deck in the early stages and has just gone down again there and dragging the ball back inside Kulusevski, who didn't let it pass.
It was just too quick feet for Kulusevski there, and just chopped it back and was brought to the ground. But Leao looks like the one, and certainly looking some footage of him playing in previous games, who can be quite a handful. As I say, just tucked inside, and he'll look to play on the outside of Skip and Sarr and get on the ball.
Here's Teo Hernandez trying to get on the end of the ball. He's got the better of Romero. Shot comes in, and Forster makes a remarkable save. But there's nothing he can do about the follow-up. And Milan are ahead inside 6.5 minutes. Brahim Diaz, I think the man that got the touch to turn it over the line. Striding down the left-hand side of the penalty area. The first shot came in, beaten away by Forster. Then there was a diving header, and he made a remarkable save for that. But it came back down, and Brahim Diaz was there to bundle the ball over the line. And Spurs have got off to a really poor start at the San Siro. 7 gone. It's Milan 1, Tottenham 0.
Well, in a game that there was very, very little in it, it was Hernandez who got the original header in the box, and a brilliant double save from Forster. Hernandez has won the first header and then got a shot away that slammed into the chest of Forster. His second shot, he's done brilliant to get a hand on it. He was hoping to turn it over the crossbar. It bounced out, and then Diaz followed up with a diving header over the top of Forster.
Excellent play by Teo Hernandez. I think Romero will be a little bit frustrated at the ease at which he was beaten with the initial ball that was forward. He ended up in a crumpled heap. And Teo Hernandez kept going, and nothing that Fraser Forster could do to prevent the third one going in. Brahim Diaz with the goal, his 5th of the season. Spurs get another corner as they look for an instant response, trailing 1-0, sonning towards the near post, and it's Krunic is there to head the ball away. And Spurs will work it all the way back to Skip on halfway, who plays a slightly awkward but effective ball forward. Dyer to Kane. Kulusevski has really skied a ball out towards the far post, where Son let it bounce, and then he screwed it off the turf straight past him. And out of play for a goal kick. 8.5 gone, it's Milan 1, Tottenham 0.
Yeah, I've always felt with Tottenham that when I've watched them play, certainly playing with the 3 at the back, they're a better side with Davis as the left side of the 3. He offers more attacking threat, going to supplement the attack to get up alongside Perisic or underlap Perisic. And I think they're much stronger, both defensively and going forward in that respect.
Barnsley 2-1 up at Port Vale in League 1, and Bolton 2 goals to the good at home to the MK Dons in the early stages of their game. Played 9 minutes of this one. Milan 1, Tottenham 0. Spurs working it forward, but Kane losing out to Kerr. Kerr's ball into the centre circle. Rafael Leao stumbled, then got back to his feet. Skip slid in, and the referee is happy for play to go on. Romero bringing the ball forward for Tottenham. back it goes from him to Emerson Royale. Inside the centre circle, Eric Dyer is in possession. Dyer playing it down towards the left-hand side for Spurs and Clement Longley. The Frenchman turning it back inside his own half. Skip wearing 4, just put under a little bit of pressure by Tonali. And now Emerson Royale will pick it up. They've had decent possession, Tottenham. Won those couple of corners but haven't been able to do anything constructive with them. Tatarusanu under pressure and decent pressure as well from Kulusevski. And his ball forward will be picked up by Brahim Diaz in the midfield. And Tonali's in very strongly beating Skip. Tonali ending up on the deck. Skip gets it back. Son, he's put under pressure and loses out. It was very well played at the back by Kalulu. And the danger man Rafael Leao will be able to pick it up again. Now they've got a couple of goals for Portugal in the World Cup. One against Ghana and one against Switzerland. Now Milan will work it out towards the right-hand side for Krunic. We're 10 minutes in. It's Milan 1, Tottenham 0 here on Talksport. Here's Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, as you rightly say, Leao is looking very dangerous at this moment in time. Got a good turn of foot, looking to get turned and just dropping into a little zone where Skip has got to be acutely aware of where he goes and to pick him up, certainly when Tottenham are in possession and attacking.
In League One, Sheffield Wednesday in a fine run of form, unbeaten in 17 in the league and 2 up at home to Morecambe. Barry Bannon's first minute goal supplemented by Josh Windus. Mansfield 2 up away at Carlisle, who are in the top 3 in League 2. And live over on Talksport 2 for you right now. We've got all the action of the game, the other game tonight in the Champions League, as PSG and Bayern Munich go head-to-head. That's still 0-0. San Siro, Milan 1, Tottenham 0. Spurs trying to make something happen in the midfield again with Papi Sarr. Kane will be able to bring it down. And Kane, just given a little shove, has won a free kick which will be taken out predominantly towards the left-hand touchline. They just got east of the ground there by Sandro Tonali. In fact, it's Krunic that made the final contact. He just got sandwiched between the two players, and Kane winning the free kick here for Spurs.
Yeah, as I say, Harry Kane doesn't have to be the quickest across the ground, but what he is, very, very intelligent, just draws the challenge and just toe bungs it away and just commits defenders to think that they're going to get there first, but he's that cute, and Tottenham have got a good opportunity to put the ball in the box.
He's got the 1 goal in 6 Champions League ties so far this season. Harry Kane, in comes the free kick, in with pace, and it took a little flick on its way through. Eric Dyer getting the top of his head to it, but Tatarusanu, the veteran Romanian goalkeeper, only had to shuffle about a foot to his left-hand side to bring the ball into his body, but an effort on target from that Spurs set piece.
I can't believe how deep they were, to be honest with you. A free kick probably 35 yards out, but that they've drawn a line instead of probably the penalty spot or the edge of the box looking the natural position they would take. They were almost about 7 metres out, so any touch at all on target has got an opportunity of scoring.
Only goals in the Championship so far. At Carrow Road, Norwich 1, Hull 1. It's goalless at Birmingham and Burnley, and Coventry and QPR, and at Reading as well. In League 2, the goals so far: Mansfield 2 up at Carlisle, Doncaster leading Barrow, Leyton Orient a goal up at home to Rochdale. Here's Simon Kerr on the edge of the D, on the edge of his own penalty area, to his left-hand side for Thiaw. Thiaw's ball forward, brought down by Sarr in the midfield as Bolton go 3 up inside half an hour at home to the MK Dons in League 1. Eric Dyer's got it now. Longley letting the ball roll over the halfway line, bringing it under control, and then checking back inside for Sarr again. Sarr turning it past Krunic into the feet of Son. Son to Skip and back for Sarr again. Spurs not dominating the possession, but I bet they've had more than 50% of it so far. It's not a huge advantage that they've got in that regard, but they're having the ball in better areas now, and they'll work it with Son to Skip and Emerson Royale down the right hand side of the area. Kulusevski flashes it in, and it's cleared out of play by Kalulu for a throw to Tottenham down near the corner flag. Emerson Royale picking it up and wanting to get on with it very quickly. 14 minutes in, it's 1-0 to Milan. Sarr back for Emerson Royale. Down the line from him, Kulusevski back towards Emerson Royale, who very nearly rescued it. Tonali sticking his foot in to win it back, and then Rafael Leao will take over with a clever little flick and a change of direction. Almost turned the wrong way down a blind alley there, but was bailed out by Tonali. Now Milan get it forward towards halfway, but it'll come back again, and Spurs having a good spell of possession at the moment in half-decent areas as well, Stuart.
Yeah, I think the run of play, Jim, has been very much even-Steven, but it's the goal. Milan have got their nose in front, winning that initial header in the box. From that moment on, there was a big problem in the box, and a good finish for them. But as Tottenham stand at the moment, their back line can afford to push up and get really tight on Giroud, knowing full well he's not going to run away from them, but what you've got to do is make sure Leao is picked up and marked, and he gravitates into areas where he can get on the ball.
Yeah, it's one of those nights at the moment where Giroud's glad he's not getting paid by the touch, because he's hardly been involved at all. Kane has just won another free kick there from Simon Kjær. Two players who played against each other in the semi-finals of the Euros some 18 months ago. Kind of going in very strongly on that occasion. And another Spurs free kick. It's Mansfield a 3 up at Carlisle in League 2. Lucas Akins with the latest of those from the penalty spot. Still 0-0 PSG against Bayern. Free kick taken, but the referee wasn't happy. Spurs have just rolled it down the right-hand side of the box for Kulusevski, who's in loads of space. Sandro Scherer, the referee, wasn't happy at all.
Just looking how deep they are, Jim. Incredibly deep. They really are for a team.
So the free kick's 18 outside the box, and they're keeping the line, 7-8 yards from goal.
Yeah.
Ordinarily, you'd expect most teams to have it on the edge of the penalty area these days. The ball's fired in, but the whistle has gone. Kjær has ended up wearing one in a genuine attempt by a couple of players to go for the ball. Kjær leaning over the top of his man, got caught, and actually it may well have been Thiaw that did the damage on him, but Kane was in there asking questions as well, and the free kick has gone Milan's way, and he's down in need of treatment, and that will give us an opportunity just to find out what's going on in some of the championship games. We'll start at Turf Moor with leaders Burnley. Here's John Dunn.
And we've had 14 and a half minutes. Burnley 0, Watford 0. Burnley nearly in front within 40 seconds. Goodmanson went through. Goalkeeper Batman making a block. Came to the edge of the area for Ashley Barnes. As Batman was getting back to his feet, he was able to flick the ball onto the bar and away. Burnley on top, but still Burnley 0, Watford 0.
St Andrews next. Jeff Peters.
Well, it's Birmingham 0, Cardiff 0. No shots on target tells you pretty much everything you need to know about this game. Neither keeper really been called into action. It's pretty poor. Birmingham 0, Cardiff 0.
Against Millwall, Dave Rowe.
Millwall 0, Coventry have bossed the game and not scored yet. Gyökeres missing their best chance after combining with Casey Palmer. Good save by George Long, 1-on-1. Millwall have had a chance for a penalty turned down. McFadden's challenge on Bradshaw. Coventry 0, Millwall 0.
And to the Kian Prince Foundation Stadium, James Fielden.
Yeah, best chance for Sunderland here just now. It is QPR 0, Sunderland 0, but Patrick Roberts just brought a really good save from Seny Dieng going down to his left-hand side at the other end for QPR. They've only had one chance really through Jamal Lowe firing just wide. Nothing really to separate these two sides. QPR 0, Sunderland 0.
Through 1, Hartlepool 0 in League 2, and Leyton Orient also in that division 2 up as top play bottom. They're 2 up at home to Rochdale. What's going on at Reading? Charlotte Richardson.
It's Reading 0, Rotherham 0. Two teams in desperate need of a win. After dominating the open exchanges, Tom Ince at the heart of everything Reading created. Rotherham have grown into this one, but no goals as yet. Reading 0, Rotherham 0.
The ball in the net at QPR. It has been ruled out, and it remains 0-0 in that game. 1-1 between Norwich and Hull, as we heard earlier from Ian Abrahams. And the National League, Aldershot, Borehamwood, Eastleigh, Barnet and Woking all lead their respective games. Bromley are 2 up at Altrincham, so the top 2 in that division both trailing. And let's go back to Loftus Road. James Fielder.
Well, the goal now has been given here. It is QPR 0, Sunderland 1. It was a Sunderland corner from the right-hand side after that previous chance I told you about. Nodded down. It was spilled by Seny Dieng once and twice. And then Luke O'Nien was there to prod it home from just a yard. Protest to the assistant referee who had the best view. But ultimately this goal is going to stand. QPR 0, Sunderland 1.
So Sunderland leading there. Milan leading in the game we're concentrating on tonight here on Talksport. 19 minutes gone. It's Milan 1, Tottenham 0. Lengthy stoppage because of the injury for Simon Kjær. He's okay, back on his feet. a little bit of blood in evidence around the mouth, and then Spurs have a free kick go against them for a foul by Kulusevski on Teo Hernandez. What have your thoughts been on the opening 20 minutes so far, Stuart?
Well, I don't think there's been anything to choose between either side, Jim, if I'm being quite honest with you, but obviously there's a goal separating them now. The one person who's caught my eye certainly is Leao for Milan, who's picked the ball up in good space and has got the ability to take their team up the pitch with some real talent. There's no doubt about that. What I would say from Tottenham's point of view, I'm not sure they've got numbers forward quickly enough to supplement their attacks when they have got forward. You know, they've got 2s and 3s. I think they need to get more than that forward.
That's an ongoing criticism. Spurs fans will tell you that's something that has blighted their season. A very good side on the counter-attack, but a worry about their ability to fashion enough opportunities against sides who play with a low block, and that's exactly what Milan are doing. But Salamakis has given a free kick away over on the Tottenham left, and an opportunity for Son to fire it in again. A near post flick drifts harmlessly wide from Eric Dyer, and out of play for a goal kick, and Spurs still trail 1-0.
Yeah, a couple of things there. I think Davis offers them a much better option getting forward on the left-hand side when he plays on the left side of defence. I think he's a naturalised left back and fantastic at getting forward, and I think he helps them get that extra number forward. Obviously not in the lineup tonight, and Milan as well. I think they're playing so deep with their defensive line from free kicks about 35 yards out, literally 6 or 7 metres from their goal line, which is quite incredible. The only team I've seen defend like that was Germany under 21s many years ago when we played against them, and sort of had the mentality we're going to line up and come on to everything. So I think if I was Tottenham, I'd be putting 4 or 5 players between the goalposts and really hitting balls that just need a slight touch or a slight deflection so the goalie can't react.
Milan will be able to bring it forward here, and it's the Belgian Salamakis from right wing back, making good ground. Son came across, doubled up in front of Perisic, and put it out of play for a throw that'll be taken on the Milanese right-hand side. And take it back for Kalulu. Kalulu to Kerr. Now back for Kalulu again, the Frenchman, signed from Lyon, where he didn't make a senior appearance, but he's not that far short of 100 now for the Rossoneri. Across to the left-footed of the centre-halves, Malik Thiaw making his European debut tonight. Just a few signs of nerves as he played a slightly ill-advised back pass to his goalkeeper there, Tadarishanu. They are able to play out, and it'll be worked down the Milan left here for Teo Hernandez. Emerson Royale comes across the cover. Teo, as widely expected, does draw an offside flag. Milan 1, Tottenham 0. Midway through the first half. Going back then to the way that Milan are defending those set pieces, why is it so ill-advised to do it like that? Why do sides tend not to do it? What are the inherent risks, and why have they decided that that's potentially the best way for them to approach this game?
Well, I think their pluses, they're thinking everyone is in a position where they're going to come onto things and head things forward. But if you get the delivery correct, and all it takes is a slight glance off either a forward or a defender, the goalkeeper's got no reaction time. So sometimes you've got to work it out as an attacker and say, look, the delivery's got to be just above head height, potentially dipping just over that back line if possible, just any touch. But sometimes it sort of takes teams by surprise that the opposition do line up like that and they don't deliver how they should do.
Longley bringing the ball forward for Spurs. Perisic knows this ground so well from his inter-days, playing it back for Longley, who's fouled. And here's another opportunity for Spurs to test this Milan defensive setup. Longley with a couple of fingers up, just indicating that Salamakis has been guilty of a couple of poor challenges, and maybe a yellow card should be ensuing. Referee Sandro Sheriff for Switzerland doesn't agree. In terms of the disciplinary situation tonight, incidentally, Longley himself and Dyer are both a yellow card away from missing the second leg through suspension. They will have Højbjerg back for that one, but already know they're going to be without Bentancur through injury. Son standing over this. It's way out towards the left-hand touchline. It's about 16 yards from goal, and it's a very congested 6-yard box in the near post area. Looking for that little near post flick, which was forthcoming, and then I think whacked back off Giroud, who was oblivious to it, but actually steered it away from goal over his own bar for a corner.
Well, we've just seen exactly what we're talking about. Brilliant delivery by Son, whipped with pace, dipping, and it was a defender that's ended up nearly putting it in his own goal.
It just seemed to hit him, really. He didn't know an awful lot about it after the flick up that near post. Carlisle 0, Mansfield 4, a scoreline that not many would have seen coming. And still, about 6 or 7 minutes to go to half-time there. It's a 7:45 kick-off, as almost all of the EFL games are tonight. The Championship leaders Burnley still 0-0 in the 8 o'clock. In comes this latest Spurs corner, right-footed in-swinger, again with vicious dip and pace, looking for a little flick. It wasn't forthcoming. Milan get it away. Sarr and Skip exchanging passes, and now Skip will bring it forward and hit a long right-footed ball towards the edge of the penalty area. Spurs still with numbers forward. Kane will try and thread it down the left-hand side of the box, but didn't get the pass right. Sarr is in there very strongly. Now an effort from distance to save by Tatarusanu. It was well struck from Emerson Royale, but he couldn't get it either side of the goalkeeper. And so it remains 1-0 to Milan on Talksport.
Yeah, I think Spurs are well and truly in the game. There's no doubt about it. I don't think they're testing the goalkeeper as much as they possibly could, but there's certainly nothing in the flow of this game at the moment. And Spurs, I think, if they can get their delivery right from potential free kicks, I think there's every chance they've got an opportunity of scoring.
Well, we've seen on a couple of occasions that Kulusevski will lead the press against Tatarusanu when it goes back to the Romanian goalkeeper, who is second choice. The injured Mike Maignan, the Frenchman, is injured at the moment. He will be back before too long, and may well be back for the second leg. But Tatarusanu, who actually lost the Spurs in Europe when he was a Fiorentina player, is being put under pressure whenever the ball is laid back in his direction. The National League, Wrexham second at the start of the night, but still favourites to win the division, have equalised at home to Woking. Anthony Ford, the Irish defender, with Premier League experience, the man that has got that goal. Milan leading Spurs by a goal to nil. And Spurs, if anything, are looking slightly more fluent of the two teams. Theo Hernandez playing it back for Krunic. Krunic has got goal scorer Brahim Diaz just dropping off into a decent position. Diaz, the Spaniard who had a handful of appearances for Manchester City early on in his career, scored at Anfield in the Champions League last year. He's laid it off at the feet of Tonali. Tonali back for Kerr. And Kerr, untroubled in possession, going to bring it over halfway and play to Theo Hernandez. Back quickly from him to Tior, to Kerr again. Now Kerr has got a very good range of passing, angling one down the right-hand side. Salamaca's chasing after it. Perisic did enough. Forster comes out and mops it up, and it's 1-0 to Milan.
Yeah, very similar to the opening goal there. Ball played diagonally into the box, and it was Perisic beaten in the air, but on that occasion Forster out and just dealt with any dangers that might have occurred.
Derby having a good run in League One, but they're a goal down at home to Lincoln, just coming up to half-time. Shadipo, the man that has given the Imps the lead. Brahim Diaz's goal 20 minutes ago, the difference between the two teams in the game we're concentrating on tonight. And Eric Dyer's got the ball. Dyer to his left for Longley, and now Son. And Son will pick up the ball and turn and then drive forward efficiently, but he laid the ball to his right-hand side behind Kane, and that allowed Milan the opportunity to get it back. Theo Hernandez has gone down off the ball. Rafael Leao's got it at his feet and just waves his feet over the top of the ball, trying to deceive Skip. Skip passes him on to Emerson Royale. Leao laying it back for Theo Hernandez, back on his feet quickly enough. Romero gets it away from him. But Kalulu comes forward from centre-half. He drives across, in which Perisic can chest down inside his penalty area and then clear. Forward towards Kane. Kane trying to turn. Brahim Diaz around him, and he's just flicked his right foot around the Spaniard to find Son. It's really good link-up play from the England captain. Emerson Royale down to Kulusevski. Kulusevski to Romero. Spurs drive it forward. It hits Rafael Leao. Dreadlock still reverberating. Son will get it back and playing Perisic. Left-footed ball clipped in from him. Kulusevski peeling away at the far post. Theo Hernandez made sure it didn't quite get there. Kane's gone down, holding his face inside the penalty area, and is going to need some treatment. We're 29 minutes in, and this could be a stoppage of a couple of minutes or so.
Yeah, indeed. Just looking at Kane there, he's just taken a sort of elbow stroke, upper arm, right on the snout, and that looked quite painful. They're just short of a sort of cutting edge, aren't they? They're in their build-up, Tottenham, I think. Probably their best opportunity of scoring is going to be from a deep free kick, if you like, but they've just lacked that little bit of cutting edge on the counter-attack or on their build-up.
Still finding themselves a goal down after Brahim Diaz broke the deadlock on 7 minutes. Tomorrow morning on Talksport Breakfast, former Spurs forward Clive Allen's going to be on to look back at this game. Alan Brazil and Gabby Agbonlahor in the chair from 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. Music legend Noel Gallagher joining the boys as well to look ahead to Manchester City's clash with Arsenal tomorrow. There's Talksport Breakfast with Alan Brazil and Gabby Agbonlahor from 6. But music's more your thing. Don't forget, Chris Evans every morning from 6:30. That's only on Virgin Radio, and you can tune in to Virgin Radio on DAB or download the Virgin app. Oxford have an equaliser at home to League One leaders Plymouth. Cam Brannigan with the goal. Oxford 1, Plymouth 1. Let's quickly go back to Turf Moor. Talksport's John Dunn.
Where it's still Burnley 0, Watford 0, 28.5 minutes in. Burnley still pressing, Watford very loose in possession, but the only real chance was a short corner into the near post. Ashley Barnes with a glancing touch that was into the side netting. Prior to the game, Watford did lose Tom Cleverley, was due to make his first start since August. Misses out again due to injury. Ken Semmer stepped in to replace him. Burnley 0, Watford 0.
31 gone in this one. Milan 1, Tottenham 0. Tior under pressure. Turns away from Kulusevski. Kane incidentally is fine, back on his feet. Had a quick look at the concussion protocol, but he's fine. And linking up the play here. Flick down towards the right-hand touchline for the golden boots of Kulusevski. The Swede on the deck, almost able to regain possession, couldn't quite. Skip will play it back for Emerson Royale. And now the game will stop again because Tonali has gone down hurt in the midfield. That gives us a chance to get half-time details from Carrow Road. Ian Abrahams.
Norwich 1, Hull 1. Hull ahead on 14 minutes when their skipper Jacob Greaves fired in from 8 yards out. But 4 minutes later, Kieran Dow from similar distance at the other end hit a shot fiercely against Greaves. It wickedly deflected over Ingram. Norwich have been the better side, but at the break it's Norwich 1, Hull 1.
And half-time at QPR as well. James Field.
Yeah, Queen's Park Rangers 0, Sunderland 1 here at the break. A slow burner early on, but eventually came to life in front of the watching Will Ferrell, who's certainly toying the crowns right now. The only goal for the Black Cats, Luke O'Nien from a yard after a double spill from goalkeeper Senny Dieng following a Dan Ballard header. QPR have only had 2 attempts in this first half, none on target, severely booed off at the break. Half-time, QPR 0, Sunderland 1.
Tonali just getting back to his feet, but still receiving treatment. We'll go to Coventry. Dave Rowe.
Coventry 0, Millwall 0. Coventry, the better side. George Long in the Millwall goals, made 3 good saves, twice denying Gyökeres one-on-one, both times set up by Palmer. He's also pushed away a vicious cross by Norton Coffey. Not too much so far from in-form Millwall. A late free kick by Ian Fleming going way over the crossbar. At the break, Coventry 0, Millwall 0.
And a goalless first half at St Andrews for Jeff Peters.
Yeah, it's Birmingham 0, Cardiff 0 at the break. It's a better scoreline for Cardiff given their problems. 14 without a win in all competitions. You can see why they are the lowest scorers in the Championship. Neither keeper really has had anything to do. Poor game, Birmingham 0, Cardiff 0.
Newport have scored just before half-time at home to Stevenage 1-1 in that League 2 game. Omar Bogle with that. We're back underway again. Tonali back on his feet. We are going to have a fair few minutes added on at the end of this first half. Spurs trying to work the ball for Perisic, but it went past him and goes out of play. Perisic, who won the Champions League in that loan spell that he had at Bayern Munich 3 seasons ago when they beat PSG. The rematch between them, live for you right now over on Talksport 2, incidentally. He also played in 18 Milan derbies in his time with Inter. Desperate to impress tonight, Ivan Perisic. Tatarishanu getting the ball clear, the Milan goalkeeper. It's picked up neatly in the midfield by Romero. Romero down for Longley. Longley under pressure from Giroud, who's picked his pocket, and he'll make his way forward. Brahim Diaz now in possession. Krunic can take over. Rafael Leao made a run. He was literally 6 yards offside, hadn't realised seemingly. The ball, unsurprisingly, wasn't played into him. And then Longley and Brahim Diaz just get involved in a little argument as to exactly whose possession should be when the ball has gone out of play for a throw. It's been a goal at Turf Moor. John Dunn.
32 minutes in against a run of play. Burnley 0, Watford 1. A mistake by Muric came to clear a ball that didn't really get to. It's moved to the left, a cross by Sema and tapped home by João Pedro. Burnley 0, Watford 1.
João Pedro, Watford's leading scorer, is 9th of the campaign. And Burnley, who will be 20 points clear of third place with a win tonight, find themselves a goal down. Tadarishanu in all yellow, the Milanese goalkeeper, firing it forward. Giroud helping it on, but nowhere in particular. And Spurs will get it under easy control again at the back.
Yeah, the game settled down. Not too many chances at either end the last 20 minutes or so. Both teams just happy with possession football and lacking a little bit of cutting edge, I think. Leao, the main danger threat in my eyes from Milan's point of view. And I'd like to see Son probably further up the pitch a little bit. Getting in and around Kane.
Sorry, Stu, I was just going to ask you what you've made of Skip and Sarr. A lot of pre-match attention on the fact that both of those were playing, having never started a Champions League game between them. What have you made of their contribution?
I think they've been neat enough in possession. Out of possession, I'd like to see probably Skip get around Leao a little bit more, because he does look a threat in the positions he's taking up, and probably that would be the only definitive thing that I would look at. Potentially almost get him to go across and when Tottenham are in possession, just get really close to him and stop him receiving the ball.
Tior's been able to shepherd the ball away from Kulusevski and out of play for a goal kick that will be taken by Tadarishanu for Milan. Spurs famously knocked Milan out of the Champions League at this stage 12 years ago. A Peter Crouch goal in the first leg at the San Siro. The night that Rino Gattuso took on Joe Jordan.
Yep, wouldn't like to get in between those pair. No, certainly Big Joe, that is for sure.
Me neither. Clearly, if ever a man's reputation didn't precede him, then that was obviously the case. And picked on the wrong man there.
Lovely fella as well. Lovely fella, Joe, but certainly you wouldn't want to provoke him.
Forster with the ball at his feet, gets it clear. He did a second touch, got it away from Olivier Giroud. Son forced to retreat towards the edge of his own penalty area, lays it out towards Perisic, and then will chase the return ball. And then a foul by Krunic has given Spurs a free kick, and Kane has gone down again. It's been a goal at Reading in the Championship. It's Charlotte Richardson.
Reading 0, Rotherham 1. They don't score too many goals on the road, but this was a moment of quality. Lee Peltier getting on the end of a fantastic delivery from a free kick. It's Reading 0, Rotherham 1.
Thank you, Charlotte. Millwall still goalless at Coventry at half-time, as we were hearing from Dave Rowe, with Gary Rowett's Lions in the top 5. This one, Milan 1, Tottenham 0. Skip. Back for Emerson Royale. Taking the ball away from Krunic in the midfield. Sarr's Industry almost saw an opportunity created for Kane. But Milan win it back. Skip does well. Giroud played it down towards Rafael Leao. He slid in. And then Romero similarly does well. Flicks his right foot to the ball by the touchline and just flicks it into the chest of Leao. The ball, that is. And it goes over the line and out of play for a throw that Tottenham will take. 7 minutes of the first half remaining. And Spurs have been behind for half an hour of this game.
Yeah, really good play there by Skip. Just in the right area. Just nullified the counter-attack. Giroud on the ball, looking to find Leao. But they just need to find a way of breaking this Milan defence down a little bit more. As I say, they've not offered too much punch, certainly in these wide areas.
Now Theo Hernandez making a good run and taking on Romero and beating him, and he's inside the penalty area, and it's deflected away off Eric Dyer for a corner, which for a moment looked a very good result for Spurs. Theo Hernandez threatening to get in again, and he just bypassed Romero, ran a long way round the World Cup winner, but couldn't find Giroud at the near post, and Dyer did well to make sure that was the case.
Yeah, I think the defining difference between the two, I've not seen a Spurs player take a Milan defender on and go past him and cause a problem as yet. But I've certainly seen the odd Milan player do that to Tottenham.
Bradford 1, Tranmere 0, a half-time score in League 2. This is Milan's first corner. Spurs have had 3. Forster stands with his arms above his head. Sandro Tonali, dark head, thick set, fires the ball in towards the near post, and Skip did well to get it away. Kulusevski guilty of making a back for Theo Hernandez there, I think, as they both attacked the ball towards halfway after the Skip clearance. And Hernandez ends up on the deck and puts his tattooed right hand to his nose to see if there's any blood. The answer is there isn't, but it will be a free kick to Milan, won by their captain. Spurs, in such contrast to the way that Milan are defending, this is a free kick from the same kind of position that we've seen some of the previous ones, and Spurs' line is 3 or 4 yards outside the penalty area rather than 10 yards in it. Yeah,
you're literally talking about a swing of about 12 metres there, you really are.
A free kick taken by Theo Hernandez and straight in from Tonali, 2 straight for Giroud, and claimed by Forster.
Yeah, and as I say, it was that high line that gives the goalkeeper every opportunity to come out and deal with it.
Now Tatarusanu coming out as sweeper keeper, and he sliced it high up in the air. Theo Hernandez getting to the loose ball first as push skipped to the ground. It was cynical, certainly the most cynical challenge that we've seen so far tonight. And Sandro Scherer, the referee, is going to come across and have a word with him. Tatarusanu chasing to get on the end of Forster's long delivery, make sure that it didn't fall for Kulusevski. He came off the top of his boot rather than a meteor part of it. But no harm done from the Milanese perspective. They have given this free kick away, but it's near halfway. Still 0-0 PSG against Bayern Munich. It's live here right now on Talksport 2. This one's Milan 1, Tottenham 0. Spurs have taken the free kick sideways and backwards and end up with a throw about 10 yards in the Milan half over on the Tottenham left, which is the far side of it as we're looking at these pictures. Back for Forster. Forster in all orange tonight. 4 from him to Romero. Dyer. Kulusevski trying to turn it round the corner. Can't do so successfully. And then comes away, a real scramble involving Thior. Emerson Royal has it, and Tonali with his arm around him is trying to stop him. Couldn't do so. Good ball in. Son attacking it. And Salamakas had to cover an awful lot of ground from right wing back to clear that one away from the left-hand side of his own penalty area.
Salamaker getting a lot of praise there by his teammates and done extremely well. Royal whipped a ball into the box. Sun was onto it. And he just come from nowhere just to get in front and turn it for a corner.
And this is Tottenham's 4th corner.
So if they're going to get a goal tonight, Tottenham, more chance from probably a set play, I would suggest.
They've all been tending to be whipped in. This one's no exception. Perisic almost deceiving the goalkeeper because it was whipped in with pace, but it wasn't fired into that near post there. It was deeper than that. And it would have curved in off the far post. Tatarusanu not taking a couple of quick steps back and got his hands underneath it to bring it under control. 3 from half-time, and Spurs trail 1-0.
Yeah, just a bit too much loft on that one.
Milan getting it forward quickly. Giroud flicking around the corner. Rafael Leao, and he's blazed it well over the bar and halfway back the stand. Not his best, having cut onto his right foot and got himself into a good shooting position 25 yards out.
Well, I've got to say, I've been praising Leao for his performance, but when he picked the ball up there, when he had a real good chance, probably the best chance of running at Spurs, he opened his body up and probably delivered the worst shot I've seen for a very long time.
Yeah, certainly one of mine. Free kick. And it's gone Tottenham's way. Son, the player that has been fouled. Son has got a couple of goals in the Champions League this season, both against Eintracht Frankfurt. Next goal for Spurs will be his 140th for the club, which in most other eras would be such a hugely impressive tally, and yet it's barely half of those that Harry Kane has scored. It just shows with more than 400 between them for the club now, just how fantastic the pair of them have been. So many of those set up for one by the other as well. It's Kerr, 90 seconds to go to half-time, but I would guess 3 minutes to be added on, maybe more than that. For more live football for you tomorrow, Chelsea go to Dortmund. Build-up starts at 6, kick-off at 8, and we'll also be concentrating very heavily, as you can imagine, on Arsenal against Manchester City. Over on Talksport 2 tomorrow night, exclusive action from Bramwell Lane, Sheffield United against Middlesbrough. Then Thursday, Barcelona-Manchester United in the Europa League playoff first leg. That's a 5:45 kick-off incident. Salamakers getting a return ball down the right-hand side from Kalulu. Low cross inside the penalty area is blocked by Longley. And then Perisic comes back and heads it back for Forster. Now in the final 30 seconds of the first half. But Spurs have had their moments. They've been a little bit neat and tidy at times, but only 2 attempts so far on target. Kulusevski getting it forward here. Now Son dragging it into his stride. He's inside the penalty area. Tatarishanu with the save. Kane on the follow-up, and he's deflected up onto the underside of the bar and to safety. Don't think it would have counted anyway. Another flag is up.
Well, Sun made a run there. I thought it was offside. We couldn't actually see the angle first off. And as always, it goes on and on and on. And a couple of efforts, Kane's hit the underside of the bar, and I think everyone knew before then that it was offside.
3 minutes extra time.
3 minutes added on. There is always the danger when the play is allowed to carry on as it was there, that it could be a serious injury. On that occasion, it could have been a collision between Tatarishanu and Kane. Both players believing it was offside, but neither in a position to stop, because just in case.
Well, you've got to put it in the net if you're a forward, and you've got to defend it if you're a defender, that is for sure. But that was so clear, and I've got to say the lines officials these days are so good at their job. They don't get a great deal wrong, and there was plenty of clarity and tolerance on that one.
Perisic chases down the Tottenham left, and it's drifted past him as Salamakers and out of play. What's the gist of Conte's half-time team talk here, Stuart? What does he need to change for Spurs to be more proactive and fluent going forward?
I don't think I've experienced a great deal of punch down their left-hand side, I've got to say. If anything, or any efforts come, it's probably come from this right-hand side, so they're going to want more from Perisic on that side. And set plays, I think they're going to be a big one. If they can force some set plays, either free kicks or corners, I think they've got good opportunities, certainly the way that Milan line up.
Well, Sarr's done well to turn neatly away from Brahim Diaz in the midfield here. We're midway through the 3 added minutes. A high cross. Emerson Royale's headed it back. Overhead kick. Attempt from Kane. Didn't get it right. Might break for Kulusevski. Emerson Royale sticks a foot in. And the offside flag ends up going up again.
Yeah, Milan defenders infuriated there that the flag's not gone up earlier than it actually would have done. Certainly from the initial cross in the box, it wasn't offside, but when Kane attempted the overhead kick, Emerson Royale was offside.
Yeah, a good yard or so. He came back to attack the ball. And we're just seeing on our monitors the previous chance where Kane had hit the bar after a good break forward from Son, and that Son had sure enough mistimed his run appreciably, or the ball was played too late, depending on which way you look at it. Here's Romero heading it back for Forster. 20 seconds to go to half-time. Milan 1, Tottenham 0. Brahim Diaz with the goal on 7 minutes after Theo Hernandez had hit a rasping drive. Forster had saved it, and then saved a Diaz effort on the follow-up. But the loose ball broke the Spaniard's way and he headed in. Now Kane is fouled by Kerr. That's been an ongoing battle between the two of them that's had more than a physical edge to it.
I'll tell you what, Harry Kane and the Tottenham players are flummoxed here by Kerr not getting booked. I mean, that has got to be the 3rd or 4th time he's brought Harry Kane down. I think Harry Kane's just too sharp for him mentally, you know, and just draws him into a challenge. And, well, how he's avoided a booking, I do not know.
Now, Christian Stellini didn't either, and he was very quickly in the ear of the 4th official, Lucas Fendrich, making that very point. So one last Tottenham set piece of this first half. Son fires it in. Tatarishanu punches it clear. And the flag is up again. And the free kick, if there's time to take it, will, I'm sure, be the last kick of this first half.
Yeah, Romero was there, just drifted too deep too soon. and probably too much loft on the free kick.
Tadarishanu punched it clear anyway. There isn't time to take the free kick, and the players from both teams trudge off down towards the near touchline. Brahim Diaz with the goal on 7 minutes. And at half-time in the first leg, Spurs already have work to do. It's Milan 1, Tottenham 0.
Back here at Turf Moor, we're into 3 minutes added on at the end of the first half, and the leaders are trailing 1-0 to Watford, who are one of only 2 teams to beat them in the Championship this season. Are they actually going to do the double on them? It's Burnley 0, Watford 1. We're still waiting for the whistle. It's half-time in the other Championship game that kicked off at 8. Reading 0, Rotherham 1. We'll go there shortly. And half-time in the Champions League on Talksport 2. PSG 0, Bayern Munich 0. But Stuart Pearce, Spurs are 1 down. I'm just listening to what you were saying there about set plays. Spurs last corner of the half. Perisic took it left-footed, swung it up. The keeper caught it easily. No Spurs player had a chance of even getting close to it. When they do get set plays, they've got to be better.
Yeah, they certainly have. They look more threatening, I think, from free kicks, deep free kicks. They've got to get that right. If they can get a little bit of pace and dip on it, any deflection, the goalkeeper, not a great deal of reaction time. But Tottenham and Conte continually play that 3 at the back, and I just wonder whether, when the side are not fluent, whether it's worth mixing it up and going to a 4 potentially. But certainly I think they miss Davis. I really do. I think he offers them a little bit more. I've not seen a great deal of punch down that left-hand side, Aid.
No, I agree with you. I think defensively he's got qualities, but going forward he offers them more as well. It's a surprise to me when he isn't in the Spurs starting lineup, but I think they're a little bit flat, Spurs. I think that's the best word to describe it, a little bit flat. And at 1 down, it's difficult for Conte to know exactly what to do, because a 1-0 first leg deficit is not the end of the world.
No, it isn't, but as you say, they do look a little bit flat, Tottenham. I think they've been in this game as much as Milan, but Milan have shown that probably on occasion they've got players that can nip past the Tottenham challenge and start a pressure on their back line, where I'm not seeing that as much with Tottenham, if you like, but there's very, very little in this game.
Well, 1-0 to AC Milan at half-time. Stuart, thanks very much for the time being. Let's get the half-time picture in the 2 8 o'clock kickoffs in the Championship. Starting here at Turf Moor, where the leaders trail. John Dunn.
Half-time, and it's Burnley 0, Watford 1. A game that didn't seem to be going Watford's way even before it started. Tom Cleverley, due to make his first start since August, ruled out due to injury, with Ken Sema stepping in. Within 40 seconds, looked like there'd be a goal behind. Johan Gudmundsson was sent clear through the middle. Batman, the Watford goalkeeper, out quickly, pushed the ball to the edge of the area where Ashley Barnes tried to lift it back over Batman, but the goalkeeper able to stretch and touch the ball onto the bar and over the goal. Things looked up for the Hornets just past the half-hour mark when they hit the front. It came from an error by Burnley goalkeeper Muric. A ball down the middle. Muric came just outside of his penalty area, kneed the ball into the air. It dropped behind him in the box. He failed to collect it again. Watford moved it to the left to Sema. His low ball in at the near post, and a neat finish by João Pedro, his 5th goal in his last 8 Championship games. Burnley looking good before that goal. Barnes had come close. Burnley looking for that record-breaking 11th straight league win. Just before the break, Zahuri with a shot that Batman saved. The Clarets have lost Jordan Bayer due to injury just before half-time. Amin Al-Dakil is on for his debut. At half-time at Turf Moor, Burnley 0, Watford 1.
And boy, did Watford miss João Pedro when he was injured, and he's got the goal tonight. Burnley 0, Watford 1. What about the 8 o'clock kick-off in the Championship at Reading? Charlotte Richardson.
It's Reading 0, Rotherham 1 at the break. A much needed moment of quality, providing the goal that separates these sides. On 37 minutes, Rotherham won a free kick over on the right-hand side. Connor Coventry smartly staggered his run up to deliver a great ball into the box, which Lee Peltier nodded home for his first goal of the season. There are a lot of empty seats here at the Select Carlisle Stadium, and while some may be missing with delicious dinner plans for Valentine's Day, I suspect many are simply finding Reading's football unappetising. No league wins so far this year, and this was another bland 45 minutes of football lacking cutting edge. The hosts need to turn up the tempo and turn around this scoreline. So the boos heard at half-time are silenced by full-time. It's Reading 0, Rotherham 1. Well,
I've got to say, Paul Ince took issue with a reporter at the weekend who was interviewing him and described Reading's performance as grim.
Paul Ince wasn't happy. It sounds like it's more of the same tonight, but don't mention the word grim. Elsewhere in the Championship, Birmingham 0, Cardiff 0, Coventry 0, Millwall 0, Norwich 1, Hull City 1, QPR 0, Sunderland 1. Those all 7:45 kickoffs. And from those 7:45 kickoffs elsewhere in the EFL and the National League, we've got goals that have gone in already in the second half. Chesterfield in the National League have equalised at Aldershot 1-1. Paul McCallum just signed from Dagenham with his first goal for the club. And in League 2, Harrogate Town lead at Salford City 1-0. Jack Muldoon 5 minutes after the restart. And another one in the National League, Solihull Moors have equalised at Boreham Wood 1 apiece. But in the Champions League, live on Talksport tonight, it's AC Milan 1, Spurs 0.
Conference League live on Talksport with Till. Take payments in person, online or over the phone with the payment provider from NatWest. Till by NatWest. Tomorrow begins today. Fees, T's and C's and eligibility criteria apply.
The Graham Norton Radio Show with Waitrose.
Over on Virgin Radio.
Hello, it's only me, lined up for you this weekend. Comedian Jade Adams will be here, and wildlife presenter Gordon Buchanan will be lifting the lid in his new tour, 30 Years in the Wild. As always, I'll be joined by my show regulars, Maria and show chef Martha, who will be pondering problems and rustling up some kitchen magic. See you there.
The Graham Norton Radio Show with Waitrose.
Oh, there's nothing nicer.
Food to feel good about.
Saturday and Sunday from 9:30.
Over on Virgin Radio.
18+, begambleaware.org.
Life is complicated. Hastings Direct Car Insurance is simple. Relationships are messy and complex and full on. Hastings Direct Car Insurance is simple. Finding your way is hard. But Hastings Direct Car Insurance is simple. Great cover, great price, and a great app that makes insurance that much simpler to get, check, and change. Hastings Direct. Simplicity is the best policy.
I've been working in tech for years, but when I first started teaching, I was surprised at how much knowledge I had to pass on.
Your industry experience really brings it all to life.
Do you know what? I've always loved developing computer programs, but a new passion I've found is seeing students like yourself really develop and get ready for the world of work.
Your skills are more valuable than you realise. Teach and further education alongside your current job and change lives without changing your career. Share your skills. Search Teach in Further Education.
With the biggest range of cars to buy entirely online, it's no wonder everyone's cinching it.
I cinched it during spin class. I think I'm going to be sick.
I cinched it in this coffee shop.
What are you having?
A 5-door hatchback.
This is your captain speaking. I cinched it before takeoff with a 14-day money-back guarantee.
With so many great reasons to buy, the nation aren't just nailing it, they're cinching it. Comparison against equivalent retailers. Visit cinch.co.uk/range claim. Mileage restrictions and terms apply.
At Car Finance 24/7, we believe life's better done right. No manager confirms the team after the final whistle. Shorts and then the lucky pants. We don't think so. At Car Finance 24/7, we do things the right way. We'll find you the very best deal from our panel of lenders. And with the money stuff sorted, you can focus on the fun bit, choosing a car and driving it home. Car Finance 24/7, we're in your corner. Get a quote today at carfinance247.co.uk.
Representative APR 19.9%. Car Finance 24/7 is a credit broker, not a lender.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Free airport lounge access with 4- and 5-star holidays with On the Beach. See terms and conditions. Outbound only. Subject to availability. ATOL protected.
On the beach. Metals for You is the UK's online warehouse with everything you need for your big trade or DIY home metal project at low direct prices. At metalsforyou.co.uk, we've got loads of aluminium, brass, bronze, copper, and a real feel for steel. Plus, reduce waste and let Metals for You do the hard work with our amazing free, no-hassle cutting service. Measure, click, cut, ship at metalsforyou.co.uk, the UK's online metal warehouse, where we're mad about metal.
La creme de la creme. The bee's knees. Off the heezy faux sheezy? When you need a job doing brilliantly, that's a job for the Trust a Trader professionals. Pop in your postcode and what you need, and you'll find reputable and reliable local tradespeople, all who've passed the Trust a Trader 15-point assessment, ensuring that they and their work are top drawer. Find the Trust a Trader professionals at
Trust a Trader.
Conference League live on Talksport with Till, the card payment provider from NatWest. Till by NatWest. Tomorrow begins today. Fees, T's and C's and eligibility criteria apply.
On DAB, online, and on your smart speaker. Football for February. Talksport.
The goal in the National League, Oldham lead, Gateshead 1-0. Wayne Rooney's brother John has scored it. David Unsworth's side just resurrecting themselves after a tricky first half of the season. League 2, Stockport 2, Crawley 1. Carl Watton with his second of the game to put Stockport in front. And Lincoln lead 1-0 at Derby, but they've just had Ben House sent off for a second yellow card. Let's get the half-time odds with Ladbrokes.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Are you in? Let's go. Play at ladbrokes.com. 18 plus begambleaware.org.
Alex Apati from Ladbrokes. So Spurs are 1-0 down away to AC Milan live on Talksport.
Yeah, not the best start for them, is it, in this fixture? AC Milan 4-9 now, odds on. Spurs 17-2. Remember, that's just for the 90 minutes betting, and the draw obviously is 11-4. Spurs, I think it's very much Operation Don't Lose now, isn't it? Take something back to North London with them. Not completely out of this one though, and they are favourites, to be fair to them, to get the next goal of the game at 13-10, and reassuringly for them, both teams to score is odds on at 10-11. I mean, I think you look back, they're probably going to be disappointed with the manner in which they conceded that goal. Diaz with the opener, he's 20-1 to score next. The good news again for Spurs is that the next goal scorer market is pretty heavily dominated by their forwards. Harry Kane unsurprisingly leads the way at 5-1. Then Heung-min Son is 7-1 with Giroud, and Kulusevski is in there as a 10-1 shot to get the next goal of the game, that is.
PSG 0, Bayern Munich 0 is not a scoreline we were expecting.
I think me and you cursed this one before kick-off, suggesting there'd be goals here. It has been all Bayern, though, as far as I can see, and surely you've got to expect them to find the net sooner or later. They've certainly threatened. They're 13-10 now, so just over odds, just over even money. They weren't far off that price before a ball was kicked, so in truth, not a lot has changed there, despite it's been 45 minutes in. PSG 3-1, in need of something pretty special, and I don't know, if only they had a Kylian Mbappe or something on the bench, then I mean, the hosts would love a goal here, wouldn't they, to take away with them to Munich. 12-5 says both teams still score here if you do fancy that. The longer this game does stay 0-0, though, the less surprised you would be to see PSG nick it, and how huge would that be in the grand scheme of this tie. I'm sticking with my early thinking, though. I think Bayern still win this one, maybe 1-0. As things stand, that is a 3-1 shot with Ladbrokes.
Alex, thanks very much. We'll leave it there. That was the latest odds with Ladbrokes. Play at ladbrokes.com. 18 plus. begambleaware.org.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Are you in? Let's go. Play at ladbrokes.com. 18 plus begambleaware.org.
And we've got a goal in the second half at Carrot Road in the Championship. Ian Abrahams.
Norwich 2, Hull 1. We're playing 2 minutes shy of the hour mark. The goal's been coming. It's been scored by Gabriel Sara. Good work down the left-hand side again from Norwich, where they seem to be so profitable during this game. And Sara, 20 yards out, left-footed, stroked it first time beyond Matt Ingram into the corner of the net. Greaves had given Hull the lead in the first half, Adrian, but it was cancelled out by Kieran Dow's leveller 4 minutes later. And now Gabriel Sara, just shy of the hour mark, has put Norwich in front. Are they going to win their first home game since October? Norwich 2, Hull 1.
What about the CBS Arena? What's happening second half there? Talksport's Dave Rowe.
Still Coventry 0, Millwall 0. Still a scrappy game. Coventry the better side as they were in the first half. They've had the one serious effort of the second. A Palmer's shot from the edge of the box, teed up by Gyökeres, but straight at George Longer, who made a couple of really good saves in the first half, denying Victor Gyökeres. We've not seen the form from Millwall that's taken them into the top six and real playoff contention. They have had one second half shot. George Saville deflected wide after Fleming's laid back. It's still Coventry 0, Millwall 0.
Let's take you to Loftus Road on Talksport. James Fielden.
QPR 0, Sunderland 1. It remains here with an hour gone, and the away side still leading. Oh, great chance there for Chris Martin. Ball in from the right-hand side, poked it towards goal, just past the far post. He's claiming it should be a corner. Referee Peter Banks pointing for a goal kick. They have come out and shown some more fight in the second half, Queen's Park Rangers. Before that chance there for Martin, the only effort for that fight has been a tame effort from Ilias Chair. The only goal so far scored by Luke O'Nien from a yard out after a header twice spilled by goalkeeper Seni Dieng. QPR winless in 7 here at home, and the natives are restless. Hour gone, QPR 0, Sunderland 1.
And let's go to St Andrews, second half there. Talksport's Jeff Peters.
It's Birmingham City 0, Cardiff City 0. Entertainment still on the low side here. Neither keeper really has had much to do in this game. Although in the last few minutes or so, we've just seen one or two spiky moments. Yellow cards for Hannibal and Bielik, and for Atete for the visitors. And let's hope that this can try and spark this game into some sort of life. It's Birmingham 0, Cardiff 0.
I'm loving the fact I'm at a game where there's no VAR, but there's been a statement from PGMOL tonight. I'll read it word for word. A constructive meeting was held at Stockley Park today, led by Chief Refereeing Officer Howard Webb, to thoroughly review officiating errors in the Premier League matches last weekend. There was a focus on error prevention and a reinforcement of best practice process with the aim of achieving accurate outcomes in an efficient manner going forward. A lot of words there. We accept mistakes were made and we acted accordingly by calling a meeting and changing match official appointments where appropriate. However, we're encouraged by the way our officials have responded and are confident they will take the learnings forward, always with the aim of delivering high officiating standards for the benefit of the game. That's 3 paragraphs of next to nothing. Some goals have gone in second half elsewhere. In the National League, Altrincham have put one back at home to Bromley, but the trail 2-1, Tyrese Sinclair. Gillingham in League 2, 1-0 up on Grimsby, George Lapsley with the goal. Stevenage retake the lead at Newport, Jordan Roberts with it. Newport 1, Stevenage 2. Wrexham have come from behind. They lead against Woking, a Paul Mullin penalty. I bet he slammed it in. Kedwin Scott's equalised for the leaders, Notts County at home to Barnet 1-1. Cambridge 0, Cheltenham 1. Elliot Bonds with that goal. Lane Orient 2, Rochdale 1. The leaders still leading in League 2. We'll keep you in touch with the goals as they go in on Talksport during our second half commentary. Champions League round of 16 first leg. It's AC Milan 1, Spurs 0. Here's Stuart Pearce and Jim Proudfoot.
Adrian, thank you. Now we'll keep you informed with all the goals as they go in throughout the course of the second half. Suffice to say that over on TalkSport 2 right now, it's PSG against Bayern Munich, and we're concentrating on events at the San Siro. Milan 1, Tottenham 0. Spurs players are out, and those in red and black are just coming out to join them. Let me go through the two teams for you. Forster in goal for Spurs. Emerson Royal, Romero, Dyer, Longley and Perisic are back 5. Kulusevski, Skip, Sarr and Son. And Kane up top. On the bench, Sanchez, Richarlison, Danjuma, Pedro Porro, Tanganga, Lucas Moura, Davison, Devine, Austin and Whiteman. And for Milan, it's Tatarusanu in goal, Kalulu, Kerr, Tior, Salamakis, Krunic, Tonali, Hernandez. Goal scorer, Brahim Diaz, Rafael Leao and Olivier Giroud leading the line. Nobody in the book as yet. Possession almost dead level in the opening 45 minutes. Sandro Scherer, the referee, just waiting for the signal. Get this game underway. Milan kicking from left to right. Spurs in all white. As Stuart Pearce and myself, Jim Proudfoot, look on these pictures on our studio monitors here in London. And Milan getting it forward quickly. Giroud, Rafael Leao helps inside the area. Salamakis chasing it. And Perisic calmly chests it back for Fraser Forster. Bounces the ball once and rolls it out through the penalty area. Romero to Emerson Royal, who buys a throw off Teo Hernandez. Royal with the ball in his hands, throwing it forward over halfway. Kerr and Kane, a battle that's taken some watching. Neither player asking or receiving any quarter so far. Kulusevski trying to poke it forward. Salamakis back there to mop up, and now Son applies the press as it goes back for Tatarusanu, but he gets it clear, headed away through the midfield, and then return with a little bit of interest, but Eric Dyer can get on the end of that and calm things down. Sarr played a hurried ball out towards Emerson Royal and has given it away. And it's gone out of play for a throw that will be taken on the Milanese left-hand side. 46 on the clock. Milan 1, Tottenham 0.
Yeah, we spoke at half-time, Jim, about maybe just changing or tinkering with the formation of Spurs, maybe pushing 2 up front with Kane and Son playing alongside each other, dropping one into midfield. I just think maybe something like that, just to see if that can open Milan up at all.
Need to do something, you feel, at some stage. Richarlison amongst those waiting in the wings. Bolton 4, MK Dons 0. Barnsley 3-1 up at Port Vale, also in League 1. Son sold Sarr short. Brahim Diaz came in to win it back. And Antonio Conte had a very good view of it and claimed the throw, but I think knew that it wasn't going to go his way. Some penalty action in the Championship in Loftus Road. James Fielden.
It's a penalty to Queen's Park Rangers here. They trail Sunderland by a goal to nil. Handball by Agi Elise inside the penalty area. Ilias Chair standing over it here. Steps up now, Chair. Oh, he's saved by the goalkeeper, Patterson. He's had a great record this season. He's faced 2 and kept 2 out. It's 3 from 3. It remains QPR 0, Sunderland 1.
So 1-0 Sunderland continue to lead there. And we'll get news of the goal at Coventry in a moment. This is going to be the first yellow card of the day. Sliding challenge coming in from Romero. Knew that he mistimed it. And Sandro Scherer has booked him. Let's get news of that goal at Coventry. Dave Rowe.
Coventry 1, Millwall 0. What a goal by Victor Gyökeres. His first league goal since Boxing Day. It's a stunning strike with nothing on at the left corner of the penalty area. Turned away from Cresswell, had his back to goal. Got goal side, turned towards goal and slammed an absolutely unstoppable right-footed shot into the bottom corner. Gyökeres, a stunning strike. Coventry 1, Millwall 0.
And it's his 14th of the season in all competitions. We're just getting a view of the replay, the challenge from Romero on Tonali. He can't have any complaints at all, but the VAR is having a look at it, whether it should actually be a straight red.
Well, I tell you what, this wouldn't surprise me either way, this going. As I say, it's a definite yellow, Jim, as you rightly say. Whether the referee decides that the studs were raised in any way, shape or form.
Well, the VAR is Marco Fritz, and they did have a relatively lengthy look at it. I mean, Romero wasn't taking any chances at all there, was he?
I tell you what, I think that's a red card. I really do. I think he's gone to ground, and when he knew the player was nipping past him, he's just raised that foot to catch him, to bring him down.
I just wonder, having seen it from a second angle there, whether he just got a little nick on the ball before he made contact with Tonali. If he did, I can only think that was what saved him, because that is a really poor challenge from him.
Yeah, it was. As I say, both players, it might potentially look worse, both players running in the opposite direction as each other, but in all honesty, I wouldn't be surprised to see a red card here. I don't think we're going to see one, but I don't think you'd have too many complaints.
Well, he's back on his feet. Tonali's going to be able to continue. Romero's yellow card stands, and the VAR has said that it wasn't a clear and obvious error made by Sandro Scherer, and Spurs keep the 11 on the field.
This is where I don't understand the game, the modern day game as it stands at the moment. There's a challenge like that could comfortably have been a red, Jim, and then you'll see the most innocuous situation where it does warrant a red.
So Tonali's okay. Play will resume once he's left the field, having received the treatment. So it's a free kick now to Milan, and Teo Hernandez is just being told to get on with it. Hernandez has got hands outstretched, complaining to the referee. I don't see how he can possibly be complaining that, expecting Tonali to be allowed to be back onto the field before the free kick is taken. Spurs giving a very high line. They're 6 yards outside the penalty area, and the free kick is only about 12 yards further adrift than that. It's in towards the near post. It was missed at the near post area. Rafael Leao's going to be able to pick it up after Spurs knocked it away at the second time of asking. It's a very deep cross from him, and that's as errant as his first half shot was, and it's just drifted innocuously away and out of play for a goal kick. You're listening to the Champions League live on Talksport with Till by NatWest, card payment partner that works hard for your business. It's 1-0 to Milan.
Yeah, the depth of each defence from free kicks against is quite incredible. It really is. And but this game's still meandering along at the moment with neither team threatening the opposition's goalkeeper.
Derby have equalised 100 Lincoln in League One, where leaders Plymouth are 2-1 up at Oxford. Kulusevski chases, and Kerr will let it roll back to his goalkeeper. Tadarashanu with a long clearance. Dyer on the end of that. Heads it down for Emerson Royale. Brings it forward over halfway. Too much on the pass for Kane. And it just goes through for Tadarashanu again.
Yeah, I think as we tick along at the moment, if Spurs fail to score this evening, they'll be a little bit disappointed. I don't think they've been totally outclassed by a Milan side, and they're just lacking a little bit of punch and fluency at the moment, Spurs.
Milan haven't got a good record against English teams. They've lost each of the last 5 matches against them, and in fact only won one of the last 17 against English sides, which was a 4-0 victory against Arsenal back in 2012. But they lead this one, and Bayern Munich lead at the Parc des Princes away at PSG in the other Champions League tie tonight. Kingsley Coman scoring the goal. The man that got the winner when they met in the final 3 years ago, and he scored tonight. It's live for you right now on Talksport 2. Brahim Diaz with a shot as Salamakis trying to play him in, and it'll break back out towards the Milanese right wing back. Another goal in the Championship. He's coming Reading. Charlotte Richardson.
Reading 1, Rotherham 1. Changes were needed and changes were made to good effect. The hosts won a free kick right by the corner flag substitute. Femi Aziz stepped up to deliver, and it was inch perfect and at the back post. Who do you expect? Andy Carroll nodded home, made it look easy. It was certainly needed. It's Reading 1, Rotherham 1.
Andy Carroll with the equaliser. Spurs looking for an equaliser of their own. But on the back foot here with Brahim Diaz, the scorer. Bring it forward. Rafael Leao couldn't bring it under control. He had such a good start of the game, and he's gone off the ball so quick.
Yeah, he's got the body language of an individual that looks as though, needs a shot of enthusiasm at times. But as you rightly say, in the first half, certainly he was the one that looked as though he was a real threat to Tottenham.
Here's Longley, bringing the ball forward over the halfway line. Feeding Ivan Perisic. Perisic to Skip. First time ball from him. Sarr and to Emerson Royale. That was very well played by the 2 youngsters in the Tottenham midfield. Son with a little step over, hoping it would fall for Kane in behind him. But it was cleared by Kalulu. Romero trying to squeeze it down the inside right channel for Kulusevski, who in his frustration then pushes Theo Hernandez away. And now Rafael Leao will pick it up, and he's just breezed away from Skip. And it's run through here for Brahim Diaz, who trying to cut back inside to get a shot in. And Sarr did really well just to read that. Knocks it away, concedes a throw, but it was great covering, and Harry Kane very quickly applauds him.
Yeah, Leao it was on that occasion. Left 2 Tottenham defenders behind. Real turn of pace. He either runs very, very quickly or walks. There is no in between. Man with just 2 speeds.
Salamakis on the right-hand touchline. Thrown towards the edge of the penalty area where Giroud and Eric Dyer both come to meet the ball, and Dyer heads it away. Salamakis will pick the ball up. Sort of a speckled blue ball with white stars on it. Istanbul 2023 written on the white stars. That's where the final's going to be in early June. 16 teams hoping they'll be there. Krunic emerging with possession for Milan. One back very quickly by Perisic. Sarr goes all the way back for his goalkeeper. Forster takes a touch from his right foot, drags it onto his left. It all looked very awkward and hurried. He did get it away. Kane flicks on the clearance. Tatarashanu comes to meet it outside his own penalty area. And Tonali just puts his foot on the ball to become a calming influence on proceedings for Milan. 10 gone second half, no change to the scoreline or really any discernible change to the pattern of play in this second half, Stu.
No, you can only help thinking that sooner rather than later Spurs are going to have to make the odd change here just to try and freshen things up. Richarlison potentially the go-to individual for that, and just get an extra number further up the pitch would help them.
Clive Allen's views on this game tomorrow morning on Talksport Breakfast. Alan Brazil and Gabby Agbonlahor, the men in the chair tomorrow from 6. Noel Gallagher on to talk about his beloved Manchester City and their massive game at Arsenal, where Adrian Durham will be tomorrow night, bringing you all the action, all the drama as it unfolds. Our commentary tomorrow: Dortmund against Chelsea on Talksport, and Sheffield United against Middlesbrough on Talksport 2. Build-up starts at 6 p.m, 6 a.m. Alan Brazil and Gabby Agbonlahor, Talksport Breakfast tomorrow morning. And don't forget Music's Your Thing. It's Chris Evans on Virgin Radio from 6:30. You can tune in on DAB or download the Virgin app for the legend that is Chris Evans. Perisic helping the ball forward over halfway. Son back inside his own half. High up and under, Kane will chase it. And then Kerr tumbles away. And Kane still got it. And he's got Krunic with his arm around him, right around the midriff. And the free kick's been given. And it's only about 3 yards outside the penalty area. And this is a chance.
Yeah, it certainly is a decent chance. Krunic not too happy with the award of the decision. I was uncertain myself, I've got to say. It'll be sun over it. Just have a look at the replay of that.
Well, it's soft.
It is ludicrously soft, and Harry Kane just lost his footing and tumbled to the ground. I wouldn't have given a free kick, but Tottenham has certainly got one in a decent position.
Yeah, I think Krunic felt as though he'd been done there, and Spurs have very intelligently spotted the ball down somewhere completely different to where the infringement took place. They brought it further away from the edge of the penalty area to get the ball, give the ball more chance of being able to get up over the wall and down again. It's Son that stands over it. Now there are 4 Spurs players on the right-hand side of the penalty area. It's the far post area for Son potentially to turn it into, but I don't think anyone's expecting that. Well, it has been flicked into that area around the edge of the 6-yard box. It's half cleared, back in through a crowd of players with pace from Kulusevski. Tatarusanu will come out and is given a little shove over the line, and it's going to be a free kick to restart play. It was a free kick in a great position, and they made absolutely nothing of it.
Yeah, I'm like you, Jim. I think that's a shooting opportunity from there, and Son just lofted one into the far post that was dealt with pretty effectively by Milan.
The wrong decision. I mean, hindsight's 2020. It wasn't the great ball lofted in. Was it the right idea? Everyone expecting the shot?
No, I think it's symptomatic of the lack of confidence in Tottenham's ranks at the moment. That's exactly it. I can't believe a free kick from that area that Son and Kane in the team, maybe even Dyer in the team, that wouldn't take on as a shooting opportunity. And I think if this would have occurred probably at the start of the season at all, they would certainly have taken an effort on.
Grimsby have equalised at Gillingham in League 2 with a goal from Gavin Holohan. There's 15 minutes to go there. Tatarusanu, the goalkeeper, is still down receiving treatment after being given a right old-fashioned shove over the line. So we'll get the latest details of the Championship game starting at Turf Moor. John Dunn.
Where we've had 57.5 minutes still. Burnley 0, Watford 1. Burnley certainly pushing. The only effort of note, a long shot from Gudmundsson that was straight at Batman. Muric was at fault for the Watford goal. He's come off at the break. Suggestion at this stage is that's due to injury. Bailey Peacock-Farrell is on. Burnley 0, Watford 1.
Carrow Road next, Ian Abrahams.
Norwich 2, Hull 1. It could have been 3-1 because Grant Hanley headed home, but he pushed a defender to get to the ball. Norwich are so on top here, they deserve to be ahead by more. Norwich 2, Hull 1.
Coventry leading Millwall. The last time we heard from Dave Rowe.
Still Coventry 1, Millwall 0. Millwall have improved since going behind. They've made changes. They almost paid off moments ago. A corner kick from the left-hand side by Vogelsammer, and Charlie Cresswell up from the back, heading straight at Ben Wilson. 10 to go, Coventry 1, Millwall 0.
Big minute in the National League for Notts County, who've taken the lead at home to Barnet, whilst Woking have equalised at Wrexham. Wrexham 2, Woking 2. Notts County 2, Barnet 1. The latest scores in those 2 big games in the National League tonight. Bradford 2 up at home to Tranmere with a goal from Andy Cook, his 19th of the season. We'll go to St Andrews, Birmingham, Cardiff. Jeff Peters.
It's still 0-0 here, but it has got a little bit better. Sorry Cabba for Cardiff with a volley just off target. Connor Wickham off the bench for his debut for the visitors with a snapshot saved by Ruddy. Birmingham 0, Cardiff 0.
Sunderland still lead at Queen's Park Rangers by a goal to 0. QPR have seen a penalty saved. It's Reading 1, Rotherham 1. We'll get the details of those 2 games in due course. Tatarushanu's received his treatment. He didn't take the goal kick, but he's okay. Perisic playing it forward. Kerr and Kane both involved again. Kane ends up on the deck. Kerr has stayed down. Play goes on. Kerr getting back to his feet now. Son's got it right hand side of the area. Gets it across via a deflection. Spurs get a corner.
Yeah, Kerr it was on that occasion. Looked another free kick on Harry Kane, but the referee wasn't having it on that occasion. Kerr just trying to influence a free kick of himself, but it amazes me this day and age. Players go to the ground and there's an expectation the game will stop for them.
Yeah, guilty of that, and when he didn't, he was very quickly back on his feet. Perisic will take this Tottenham corner. They're first of the second half. Tatarashanu comes out, and he's really struggling. He came out and caught that, and he did what most goalkeepers do. He led with a foot in the air just to protect the space in front of him, but when he came back down and he landed and his weight came back through his other leg, you could see him wince. And I just wonder whether Morante, who's even older at the age of 39, might be forced to come on before too long. It's so scrappy, the games. Any number of free kicks being given away by both teams. Longley, the latest, had his arms all around Brahim Diaz, and the free kick goes Milan's way.
Yeah, as I say, you're right in what you say there. It's a very scrappy game at the moment. Very few chances. As I say, I think the goal is probably one of the only chances we've had, really. Apart from that, it's been living on scraps.
5 shots on target between the two teams. 3-2 in Milan's favour. Another free kick is given, and this is going to be a yellow card. Giroud, who has been largely anonymous, just pulled to the ground there. Was that Eric Dyer that got the yellow card? I think it is, and that means that he is suspended for the return game.
Which is amazing, really. I mean, Shah has made 4 or 5 challenges. Dyer, well, I'm struggling really to see a foul there, let alone a booking.
Eric Dyer joining Romero in the book, and Dyer suspended for the second leg. A goal at QPR, James Fielder.
It's a game-ending goal as well. QPR 0, Sunderland 2. Jack Clark gets it, weaving in off the left-hand side. Managed to get away from a couple of challenges and edged it past the goalkeeper into the far corner. Mass exodus now of QPR fans. It's going to be one winning 16 for them. Sunderland chairman Kirill Louis-Dreyfus down beneath us here, absolutely loving it. They've got another 3 points. They're heading back into the top 6. QPR 0, Sunderland 2.
Cheltenham 2 on up at Cambridge in League 1. Salford have equalised at home to Harrogate with a Matty Lund goal. That's in League 2. And it's still Milan 1, Tottenham 0. 64 gone on Talksport. Kulusevski, right-hand side of the penalty area. Back for Emerson Royale, who's done well to work the angle. Kane taking over on the corner of the penalty area. Skip. A real hustle and bustle about his style. Playing it back for Dyer. Dyer to Longley, and that was a real something or nothing cross. Except for the fact there was no something in it. It just went straight through to Tatarashanu, 10 yards away from any of his teammates. He's bowled it out quickly. Spurs have regained possession, but Tottenham just need more quality and finesse in the danger areas. Son's got it now. Back in the penalty area. Comes back out. Kulusevski fires it in. And Spurs will get a throw down by the corner flag. Oh no, Emerson Royale's kept it in. So he's pulled it back for Kulusevski. Back from him to Son. Son continuing his run. Gets himself back into an onside position. It was held up by Emerson Royale. Back from him to Sarr. Sarr in the midfield to his left-hand side for Longley. Longley down for Perisic. Perisic to Longley again on the left-hand side of the penalty area. And he's inside the box and he's pulled it back. And Kulusevski attacking the near post. Saw Kerr get there first.
Well, I was just in the process of saying there isn't a player in the Tottenham shirt in the wide area to go past anyone, and Longley for the first time this game has got in the opposition's final third, and a luck of the bounce got him in, but once he got in there he really should have found a pass to actually either Sun, who was begging for the ball in the middle of the goal.
Notts County 3, Barney 1 in the National League. Macaulay Longstaff's 26th of the season. Son to take this corner in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Headed away effectively by Thior. Sarr with a missed kick. It collided with Brahim Diaz. And Spurs work it back inside their own half for Skip. Skip, long angle ball. Son with a cushion header. Perisic chasing down the left-hand side of the penalty area. He was beaten to it by Kalulu. Brahim Diaz playing it forward, and now Spurs are stretched. Here's Rafael Leao skipping away from Sarr, trying to get himself into a shooting position. Rolls it to his left-hand side instead for Brahim Diaz. Theo Hernandez making a run forward. Giroud firing it in, and some unorthodox defending. A chest trap which goes over the bar from Perisic at the expense of a corner. And a big goal for Cardiff at St Andrews. Jeff Peters.
Yeah, Cardiff lead Birmingham 1-0. Perry and G with a free kick. An absolute belter. Left-hand edge of the penalty area into the top corner. Stunning goal. Birmingham 0, Cardiff 1.
Well, Birmingham had a stunning free kick of their own with Hannibal Mejbri the other night, but have conceded one there. Birmingham 0, Cardiff 1. to Bury NG with only 6 minutes remaining. 23 to go in the San Siro. Milan 1, Tottenham 0. And it's an AC Milan corner taken by Teo Hernandez in towards the near post. And he's taken a touch that's just spooned high up in the air. Breaks back down for Giroud. Can't find Brahim Diaz. Leao will pick it up over on the touchline. Sar's followed his every move and concedes the throw. Midway through the second half.
Yeah, the only thing that's astounding me at this moment in time, there's not been a change from Tottenham, you know, to freshen things up at the moment. They look as though they're ticking along and really not threatening Milan's back line in any way, shape or form.
So what do they need to do? They've got Richarlison on the bench, they've got Danjuma there as well. Those are the primary attacking options, you would think, but does he change the shape? Who does he bring on?
Well, looking at it, Kulusevski's not done a great deal for me this evening, I've got to say. I'm of the opinion that they're a better attacking side, making a change with Davis. I think he certainly freshens them up and enables them to get forward a little bit. But Richarlison definitely, you would suspect, should come off, you know. But it's interesting, you know, the manager knows these players better than we do, works with them on a daily basis, and the fact that he hasn't even gone to the substitutes bench at this stage is surprising.
Sandro Tonali standing over a free kick, leaves it. Teo Hernandez plays it in. Giroud got his head to it. It's gone square off the side of his head, and around the penalty spot, Kalulu could attack it. And he sent a looping header towards Forster's goal. Fraser Forster bowls it out and tries to get Spurs going from the back. In the final quarter of this first leg, if it stays like this, it's not an irreparable situation as far as Tottenham are concerned. Milan are much better side at home than they are away, and so from that point of view, Spurs might look at it as being maybe par even if they were to lose 1-0. Leao plays it in here, and Forster will come out and play. Tottenham have won only 2 of the last 7 away games in the Champions League. Lost 5 of the last 8 matches away from home in Europe. Skip playing it forward here, but not to good effect. And we are going to see Richarlison at the next break in play with 20 minutes to go.
Yeah, I mean, what that might do, bringing Richarlison on, at this moment in time, everything that's been played into Kane, Chara has been literally touch tight on him, giving fouls away, blocking Harry Kane, stopping him in the main getting turned and feeding passes behind their back line, and they've dealt with him so well, as I say, albeit not overly fairly on occasion, but it certainly stopped him.
Yeah, hard to think of a single shot that he's had so far in the game. And in League 2, Sutton have equalised at home to Swindon in the closing stages through Lee Angle. Gateshead got it back to 2-2 at Oldham in the National League. They were 2 down not too long ago. The changes are going to be made. It's the one that you called for. Kulusevski coming off and Richarlison will replace him. 20 to go.
Yeah, I think he's been a little bit disappointing. As I say, been starved of the ball a little bit. The ball's probably come down that right-hand side a little bit more regularly for Tottenham, but he's been unable to sort of get past people and deliver crosses.
So here's Richarlison, who scored twice on his Champions League debut against Marseille, but he hasn't scored in any of his 15 games for Spurs since then. In fact, he scored 6 goals for Brazil since he last scored for Tottenham.
This is incredible, really. When he joined Spurs, you thought, yeah, he's going to be a great addition to their ranks, and when you look across this front three, Jim, you think, well, there's goals in that. Richarlison, Son and Kane, you know, there's a wealth of goals in that.
2 minutes for Sutton, who now lead Swindon by 2 goals to 1. Gillingham 2, Grimsby 1 would be a big win for them if they can hold on there in the bottom 2 of League 2. And Notts County are 4-1 up now at home to Barnet on a night where Wrexham are being held at home by Woking. Spurs trying to bring it forward, trailing 1-0 as another goal goes in at Carrow Road. Ian Abraham.
Game over with 90 seconds of normal time left. Norwich 3, Hull 1. Josh Sargent 18 yards out, just on the right hand side of the penalty area, firing home sweetly into the bottom corner. Norwich 3, Hull 1.
Goal which makes him the Canaries' leading scorer this season with 11. Here's Rafael Leao down the line. Teo Hernandez chasing it. Forster judged it to perfection as it turned out. He came out to the edge of his penalty area, the right-hand side of his penalty area, looking as though he was going to play it. Nobody was fooled by that. He was always going to let it run past him. Matteo Hernandez's momentum almost saw him get into a position that he could wrap his foot around it and keep it in. But Forster watched it over the line. It's out of play for a goal kick. It's taken it quickly, and there are 18 minutes to go. Spurs still looking for this equaliser, still trailing by 3-1. Thursday night, Barcelona, Manchester United, and England's women against South Korea in the Arnold Clark Cup. A double bill for you live on Talksport. Here's Perisic, right-footed ball inside the area, looking for Kane, knocked away from him. Thiaw dealt with Kane pretty readily anyway, and then Rafael Leao will pick up the ball in a little bit of space on the left-hand touchline for Milan. Tonali chipping it down towards Salamakers, and he controls it on his chest, plays it back for Kalulu. Brahim Diaz tried to turn, couldn't do so. Perisic in strongly, but he's conceded a throw, which will be taken on the Milan right-hand side with 17 to go. Another late goal, this one at Loftus Road. James Fielder.
Queen's Park Rangers 0, Sunderland 3. It comes in the 92nd minute. Sunderland breakaway down the right-hand side. Sub Dan Neil into the penalty area. His cut back, and in front of the 2,500 travelling Sunderland fans. Jack Clark on hand again for his second and Sunderland's third. Great night for the Black Cats. More misery for Queen's Park Rangers. QPR 0, Sunderland 3.
And a second for Wickham Silsden at Accrington. Gareth McCleary with a goal going into stoppage time there. Accrington 0, Wickham 2. Richarlison plays it out to the Tottenham right for Emerson Royale. Richarlison then turns as he gets the return ball, but showed too much of it to Krunic, and the Bosnian has it back. Just exchanging passes with Theo Hernandez. It'll be a big win for Milan, bearing in mind the poor form they've been in. 4 defeats in 5 coming into this. They can add to Friday night's victory against Torino with another clean sheet as well. Pioli might feel that the corner's been turned with this change that he's made recently to a back 3. Here's Harry Kane. Kane back for Papi Sarr. Sheffield Wednesday 3, Morecambe 0. Josh Windus with his second of the game. Down the line from Emerson Royale, chasing after it. Skips, pulled it back. Richarlison with a shot. It hit Thiaw, and then it's cleared by the Milan defence over halfway and back into Tottenham territory.
Yeah, Skip done well there eventually. He first touch probably put him too close to the touchline, but he managed to slide and pull one back. Richarlison look a bit more of a threat. Look as though they're getting more and more men forward, Spurs.
Needs must. Have got a half-decent record this season. They've gone 1-0 down on 6 separate occasions when they've come back to win in all competitions. And another shot on target there. It's Papi Sarr from about 35 yards, and it's just skidded low and innocuously through to the goalkeeper, Tamer Ashano, with time to get down and make the save. He's been able to continue. Picked up that leg injury about a quarter of an hour or so ago, but he's been okay and doesn't look bothered by it now. Emerson Royale down by his own dead ball line is just pulled back by Leao, who I think was probably offside. Maybe a pull, but it is a free kick to Tottenham either way. And Milan are poised to make more changes. De Ketelaere will be coming on shortly. 1-0 Milan lead Spurs. Tonali straight through and straight out of play for a goal kick that Fraser Forster will take. Well, Spurs knocked Milan out of the Champions League at this stage 12 years ago in the semi-finals of the UEFA Cup back in 1972. They've never lost to Milan in their 4 previous meetings, but they're 15 minutes away from it here.
And I don't know what the viewpoint will be, whether they would take a 1-0 loss at this stage and just think they've got enough in their ranks to turn it round and win the second leg.
Well, mistake by Son. And a chance for Salamakers to play it forward, looking for Giroud, who beat the ground in frustration when the ball didn't get there. And now Junior Messias and De Ketelaere are going to come on. A late goal at St Andrews. Jeff Peters.
It's all over here. Birmingham 0, Cardiff 2. Callum Robinson off the bench, into the box, individual skill, thumped it past Ruddy. They are heading for the 3 points. Birmingham 0, Cardiff 2.
Bolton 5, MK Dons still playing there. Omar Bogle scored from the penalty spot to equalise for Newport, his second of the night. Newport 2, Stevenage 2. Junior Messias on for Salamanca's. That's the first change, and Brahim Diaz is being replaced, the Milan goal scorer. Junior Messias and De Català, the players that are coming on for Milan, who still lead Spurs by a goal to nil. Let's get full-time details from QPR. James Fielden.
Yeah, Queen's Park Rangers 0, Sunderland 3. It's finished. Fantastic night for Sunderland. 3 goals, 09 in the first half. Big turning point halfway through the second when Ilias Chair missed a penalty. The first he's ever taken in his career, by the way. Clark then with the second and third deep into added time. They are into the top 6. 3 points off Middlesbrough in third place. The natives here at QPR not happy at all. Massive boos at full time. They are really struggling with 1 win in 16 games. QPR 0, Sunderland 3.
Teo Hernandez now for Rafael Leao on the Milanese left. Ball in from him. Giroud flicking it on, and the header is somehow bundled wide by Perisic. De Català getting on the end of it, got past Forster, and Perisic coming back. How much he knew about this, I don't know, but he knew enough. Just flicked out a right foot at it and steered it the right side of the post, and it remains 1-0.
Well, it's that man again, Leao, who put a wonderful cross in. Giroud just left it there perfectly for De Català, and such a tentative header. I think he was more concerned about getting hurt than actually putting the ball in the net.
Well, having seen a replay of it, I think the initial header from De Català was going wide, and Perisic actually steered it close to the goal, but still wide of the post. In comes the corner. It's headed away by Perisic outside the penalty area. It's chipped back over the top down the left-hand side of the box for Rafael Leao. In from him and away by Harry Kane. And then steer back out of Rafael Leao again. Notts County have beaten Barnet 4-1. Rafael Leao's ball inside the penalty area, and he's headed wide. It was a golden opportunity for Tior. And Spurs have been let off the hook twice in a minute.
Well, we spoke pre-game about Spurs' defensive record, and we've just seen 2 opportunities there, both set up by Leao, and both absolutely gilt-edged chances, open goals nigh on, that they've missed the target. And will they rue that come the second leg?
Spurs a goal down. They should be 2, maybe 3 down. De Català missing 1 chance, Tior missing the other, and had Giroud been on the edge of either of those, you feel that he surely would have scored them. 11 to go. Full time at Norwich. Ian Abrahams.
Norwich 3, Hull 1. Jacob Greaves fired Hull in front on 14 minutes, but after that it was all the Canaries. First of all, Kieran Dow equalised 4 minutes later, and second half goals from Gabriel Sara and Josh Sargent made it comfortable. First home win for the new manager David Wagner. Norwich 3, Hull 1.
Here's Harry Kane given a shove by Tonali. Free kick, and that'll be a yellow card. Full time details at Coventry, Dave Rowe.
Millwall 0 deserved win for Coventry, held on towards the end, and that victory given by a stunning goal by Victor Jokerej in the second half, turning away from Cresswell and firing into the bottom corner. Millwall gave it a real go late on. They went so close from a corner. Shackleton's effort cleared off the line by McNally. They couldn't find a way through. Coventry into the top half. Millwall drop out of the top 6. Coventry 1, Millwall 0.
And full-time details as well. St Andrews, Jeff Peters.
Birmingham 0, Cardiff 2. A first victory for new boss Sabri Lamouchi. Their first 3 points since the 5th of November. Perry NG's stunning late free kick, and then sub Callum Robinson's solo goal in stoppage time sealed the points. Birmingham 0, Cardiff 2.
Spurs making a change as we go into the final 10. Stuart Pearce, Dan Juma on for Son.
Yeah, as I say, Son's been a little bit ineffective, and I think Davis has come on for Longley. I think they've probably left that one a little bit too late, and you know, they're chasing the game. Seems strange bringing a defender on to chase the game, but he certainly gives them an option, Davis, and Son been a little bit ineffective, I'd say, as well.
Harry Kane's got it inside the penalty area for Spurs. In he comes from Skip, brought down by Richarlison, stabbing it back. Sarr, better attempt. It's gone wide, didn't get the deflection that he was claiming, and it's a goal kick.
Yeah, we've probably seen more efforts in the last 5 or 6 minutes from both teams than we certainly have for the majority of this game.
An equaliser from PSG's Kylian Mbappe. 1-1 at the Parc des Princes. It's been ruled out for offside, has it though? And it remains 1-0 to Bayern Munich. It is live for you right now over on Talksport 2. That Sarr effort did get a deflection. It's a corner here. The Spurs, Perisic takes it, headed down. It's hit Eric Dyer rather than being able to steer a header towards goal. And as Ben Davies goes for the loose ball, he's flagged offside. 8 minutes to go.
Well, Milan have had 2 gilt-edged chances, headers, poor headers that have missed the target. And Eric Dyer there from about 8 yards out, totally free, middle of the goal, headed it down, no power on it at all. And the goalkeeper managed to jump above Davis and claim the ball.
Yeah, the flag up against Davis. So had Dyer been able to get his header in, it would have counted. Man who's got a couple of goals this season, but only 13 in nearly 350 games for Spurs. It's not what he's in the side to do, of course, but be very frustrated he didn't make the most of that chance. Another free kick to Tottenham. Kane taking it just in Milan territory. 4 from Ben Davies. Perisic. First ball, not the best. Second one, hit Danjuma on the backside. De Ketelaere, the Belgian substitute for Milan, wins the throw off Perisic, which will be taken on the right-hand side. Just confirmation, that goal from Kylian Mbappe ruled out. PSG 0, Bayern Munich 1. And this one somehow still remains Milan 1, Spurs 0. But missed opportunities. Spurs disintegrated really against Leicester at the weekend, and just in danger of doing that, switching off at the back over a 5-minute spell that could have been fatal for them. Here's De Ketelaere. 4 from him. Giroud. Brought down in the midfield by Junior Messias. It's a good ball. Swept down towards Theo Hernandez. Well read by Emerson Royale. And then sliding in. He's been able to keep it in after his initial intervention went out towards the touchline. Richarlison to Sarr. Clip forward for Kane. Nick control. Wins the throw off Thiaw.
Yeah, he's really cute, Kane, isn't he? The ball comes up to him. You think a really tight area. He can't get much from this. And he either draws a foul or manipulates the ball so well to sustain the attack.
And he's won a throw, but his side still trail by a goal to nil. Brahim Diaz on 7 minutes, and that's still the most important moment of the night. Here's Ben Davies getting into a shooting position and rifling it over the bar. 30 yards out and 4 yards over.
Yeah, just snatched it there, but as I say, he's worth this. He does like to get forward and does like to supplement that last third attack. From Spurs' point of view, certainly with those 2 chances for Milan, they'll be pleased with only losing this 1-0. It could have been a lot worse.
Well, Milan have found some defensive solidity. They lost 4-0 and 5-2 in successive games last month, including shipping 5 at the San Siro at home to Sassuolo, which was a scoreline that nobody saw coming, even in the wake of that 4-0 defeat to Lazio that had preceded it. Pioli changing from a back 4 to a back 3. Defensive solidity has been found, and that'll make it even more frustrating for Spurs, that bearing in mind that Milan's defensive form hasn't been good, and Tottenham have only managed to force 3 shots on target all night. Perisic will take a throw in a moment. There's going to be a Milan change first, and I think it's Andy Rebic who's going to be coming on. Tonali is the player that is coming off. And many in the crowd rise to applaud him. Sandro Tonali, who's started every game in this Champions League run. It is in fact Tommaso Pobega who will come on to replace him. Straight swap in the midfield. He came off the bench to score against Dinamo Zagreb earlier in the competition. And the 3-time Italian international comes on to replace Tonali with 5 to go. Throw inside the penalty area from Perisic. Richarlison going up for it, and he's won a corner.
Yeah, good opportunity to put the ball in the box. Spurs pushing a little bit more since those 2 efforts from Milan. It's been Spurs territory-wise, and they seem to be getting more and more men forward. And an equaliser at this stage, I think they'll be delighted with on their performance anyway.
Corner count 7-3 in Tottenham's favour. This one sent in deep, but Dyer backpedaling, could only head it hopefully, and he's headed it well wide. It's just been another one of those nights. Spurs so inconsistent. You look at the two performances, Manchester City at home, where they were superb, Leicester away, where they were abject. This has been somewhere in between, quite clearly, but that inconsistency must frustrate everybody connected with Spurs, from the manager all the way through to the fans.
Yeah, you would certainly think so. As I say, it's been a performance that's been, you wouldn't say it's been a poor performance, but I think it's lacked a little bit of cutting edge, is what I would say. I don't think they've conceded too many efforts at their goal prior to the two-headed efforts that were missed so badly.
Now Spurs have a free kick. It was won by Skip. He's in a hurry to get on with it. 3 to go. Spurs trail 1-0. Ben Davies bringing it forward, clipping it in, and he's whacked it past both Kane and Richarlison. And Kane just stood and turned and couldn't believe what he'd seen. And it's beaten them both. He's hit that 3 times harder and higher than he needed to. And it's gone straight out of play for a throw on the Milanese left.
Well, he's got himself forward in good positions there, and I can see what he was trying to do, trying to whip it with pace. But if you get them wrong, once you've committed to really hit it, you can run the threat of over-hitting it and putting it out of play, which is exactly what he did.
Here's Junior Messias, one of the substitutes. Played back for Kerr. Kerr's got Theo Hernandez on the left. Hernandez with bleached blonde hair, and he's got the Manchester Acid House smiley face in fluorescent pink that has been dyed onto the back of that peroxide barnet. It's wearing off, which, if it were possible to make it look even worse, the fact that it's obviously was done about 10 days ago means that it's almost not visible, but you can just sort of see the back end of it.
I certainly think it probably comes from the Milan version of the Hacienda, potentially.
Here is Harry Kane. It's things like that that make me feel as though I'm getting old, when I think even when I was his age I wouldn't have been tempted, but you just shake your head, don't you, when you're our age. The ball is with Giroud. Giroud getting it forward towards halfway. High right-footed ball forward. Great run by Rafael Leao. Shocking touch, and it's bailed Tottenham out. Because any kind of good touch there to get it into his stride, and he's through on Forster, and it may well have been 2-0.
Yeah, as I say, 2-0 would certainly be, I wouldn't say it's insurmountable, but a real tough one to turn round. But great ball by Giroud, and it wasn't the easiest to deal with, I've got to say. He's on full stretch. As you say, if he'd have got a decent touch on it, every chance of scoring.
Ball out of play. Danjuma thinking about taking the throw quickly. Leaves it for Ben Davies. Danjuma got to the semi-finals of this competition last season with Villarreal. He's got a really good record in the Champions League. 7 goals in 13 Champions League ties in his career. 4 in 4 against Italian opposition, but not a sniff of a chance for him tonight. Ball's out of play, and it's a goal kick which will be taken by Tadeu Ashanu. 1-0. Spurs, it goes without saying, you feel they have to make sure they don't concede again in the time that remains. 20 seconds plus stoppage time. That's all that's left. Rebic is now going to be coming on for Milan. Substitution that's been in the post for a while. And Ante Rebic, his only Champions League goal was at Anfield last season, Croatian international, and he will come on to replace Rafael Leao. It's been a real mixed bag of a performance from him.
Yeah, I think he's the one that's looked the real threat for Milan. He's the one that's had the opportunity to run past people, and when you actually look, the 2 balls that were delivered in the box, Jim, for the headers that were real gilt-edged chances for Milan, he delivered them.
Substitution for Milan.
So we're into stoppage time, still waiting for confirmation as to how many extra minutes will be played. Milan 1, Tottenham 0 the score. Giroud coming to meet it. They're going to get 90 minutes out of him. De Cadillac. Play down towards Junior Messias. He'll take it down towards the corner flag. More than happy to keep it in that kind of area. We are in 6 added minutes. Nearly at the end of the first of those 6. Spurs have a throw in the left back position. And it's Perisic that's going to take it. Actually in no discernible hurry to get this ball upfield. Takes a couple of steps down the left-hand touchline. Arches the back, hurls it forward, and then Kabisar trying to get it forward as quickly as he could as it rebounded his way, completely sliced it, and it goes out of play. A very late goal at Reading, Charlotte.
2, Rotherham 1. The second half comeback could be complete as another set piece is scored by substitute Tyrese Forner, getting a vital glance in touch to an Andy Carroll headed knockdown. We are playing 90 minutes. We've got 4 more of additional. Reading 2, Rotherham 1.
So 2-1 there to Reading. Spurs hoping for a stoppage time goal in this one. 90 seconds of stoppage time play, 4.5 to go. Milan 1, Tottenham 0. Emerson Royale heads the ball for Benjamin Pavard, sent off for Bayern Munich in their game at PSG. The back end of that live for you right now over on Talksport 2. The Bayern still lead it. Richarlison and Theo Hernandez both getting involved, and Hernandez has been shown a yellow card for his part in that. So a Spurs free kick, but not in a shooting position by any stretch of the imagination. Richarlison was given a shove. He made sure the referee knew. Ends up on the deck. Chance for Spurs to get bodies inside the area. Milan again defending this very deep. There are 4 in the box. It's worked square for Ben Davies. Tottenham need to get it forward. Down towards Danjuma. Danjuma down the left-hand touchline. Back for Perisic. Perisic with a poor, low, skinny ball inside the box, which was easily swept away. Comes back for Sarr. Sarr to Davis. Davis trying to hurriedly get it forward. Perisic turning it on the half-turn. Bounces towards the edge of the box. Poor touch came from Pabega. Richarlison picking it up, clipping it in, looking for Danjuma. It's cleared past him. Richarlison has it again. Back from him to Sarr. Sarr, right-footed ball, helped in. Kane got his head to it. Hoped that a teammate would win the seconds. Emerson Royale couldn't. And Rebic will be able to clear it down the Milan left. It's going to come straight back. But Dyer, in getting there, actually has gone back to his goalkeeper. Forced it back out for Eric Dyer again. He gets it forward down the Tottenham right. Headed away by Hernandez. Lovely turn from Skip. 3 minutes to go. 1-0 Milan lead Spurs here on Talksport. Danjuma on halfway. Danjuma shown inside by Junior Massage. Richarlison. And now here's Harry Kane. He's inside the penalty area, taking on care. He couldn't get it past him. Richarlison then comes to meet it. Given a shove, was he by Krunic? Made out that he was. I think he was desperately trying to buy something. And the referee says play on.
Yeah, really good opportunity for Harry Kane there. Went into the box and just, unlike him really, just didn't get his effort away and was blocked quite well on that occasion.
Well, Kalulu and Perisic were involved. Just getting another view of that. I've done Richarlison a disservice. They're saying that he went down very easily. On that occasion, he was given a shove in the back. The referee said play on. I haven't seen any suggestion that the VAR were having a look at it. Tadarashanu given the instruction to take this free kick for Milan on the edge of the penalty area. 90 seconds to go. Milan 1, Spurs 0. 4 from Ciprian Tadarashanu. Headed down by Perisic and nodded back by Romero to his goalkeeper Forster. Reminder that Eric Dyer's picked up a yellow card tonight that will see him suspended for the second leg. That second leg on Wednesday, March the 8th. Ben Davies bringing it forward. Minute of stoppage time to go. Spurs trailing as they have since the 7th minute. High ball from the Milan midfield. Pabega just trying to turn the Spurs back line, get the ball out of harm's way. Romero will run round it, pick it up, and they might have a chance for one last attack. Pabega just left one on Skip. Play goes on. Advantage play by the referee. Kane shoved to the floor by Tior. Didn't get the free kick. And then flicked it into Tior and out of play for a throw, which will be taken on the Tottenham right. Kane walks past the assistant referee and visibly says, that's a foul. Throw taken by Emerson Royale. Back for Romero. Romero to Skip. To Royale again. Down the line. Oh, it's too much on that for Kane. And it drifts over the line and out of play for a goal kick. And by the time Tadarashanu takes it, the 6 minutes will be up. And Spurs are going to be condemned to a first leg defeat.
Yeah, it certainly looks that way. I don't think there's been a deal in the game, to be fair. I think it's still all to play for in the second leg. But I mean, probably Spurs are pushing a little bit more over the last 10 minutes or so, but prior to that, we weren't offering a great deal.
Tatarajanu with the last kick of the night. It's set up nicely for the second leg, but it is advantage Milan. No way through for Spurs. They didn't really create too much. They trailed for the vast majority of the game. A couple of poor headers from Milan in the last 15 minutes could have made it even worse for Spurs. The deficit is just the one, but Conte and co have got a mastermind to come back from behind at home to the Italian champions on March the 8th. It's finished. Milan 1, Tottenham 0.